is what united Nehru and Sardar Patel was more significant and of abiding value than what divided them. So the question is on difference between Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru. So the question is about what differences they had and what similarity they had. The similarity was of more abiding value than the differences they had. So we have to write the differences and the similarity between their ideologies. So here we'll start the answer. Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Patel were the stalwarts of Indian struggle for independence. Nehru was a visionary and idealist, whereas Patel was pragmatic and realist. So both had striking personalities and their ideologies were also very different. So one by one we'll come to know what was the difference in their personalities from different components. First of all, regarding economic policy, Nehru advocated Soviet Union's policy of socialism. Nehru always supported USSR's socialism. So that was the reason why in India we had mixed economy, where we had socialistic ideas and also capitalistic ideas, but more we had socialism. So Nehru advocated Soviet Union's policy of socialism, whereas Patel supported capitalism. Patel always supported capitalistic policy and the spirit of enterprise. Second is foreign policy. In foreign policy, what was the differences? Foreign policy, Nehru had a very internationalist approach. He was very internationalist in nature. He wanted to keep good relations with all our foreign neighbors or even other countries also. So one example is Nehru's Panchshil. Panchshil was an internationalist in nature, whereas Patel's approach was very nationalist. Patel always wanted national integration, but Nehru was more of internationalist character. So one example is Panchshil. You can also write one more example, that is non-alignment movement. Nehru was also a pioneer of the non-alignment movement of 1961. Now coming to military, Patel advocated modernization of army opposed to Nehru, as the latter with more idealist approach could not perceive the security threat simmering over India from its neighbors. It means from a military point of view, Nehru always was a very pacifist in nature. He was very pacifist. So he did not wanted much modernization in the army during that point of time. But Patel always wanted modernization in the army. That was the reason why, in a way you can say it's not the only reason, but we lost the India-China war of 1961 because Nehru did not wanted modernization of army during that point of time. Coming to national integration, Nehru wanted the integration of states. See, both of them wanted integration of states, but Nehru wanted through democratic means. He always wanted that every state who want to be a part of India, the democracy should be preserved and it should be through a democratic way. But Patel wanted this even through the use of force and police action. See, Patel wanted every state should get integrated. If by force also, he was okay with that. So that is also a difference when it comes to national integration. Now coming to political ideology, Nehru was a leftist. Nehru was totally a leftist, and Nehru was a believer of liberalism. He was very liberal in nature and to be associated with the leftist within the Congress. But Patel believed in conservative outlook and was a part of the right wing of the Congress. That was the difference between Nehru and Patel when it comes to political ideology. However, both were united on other grounds that were more significant. So the question is, the components where they were more united, it makes more sense than their differences. If you see the points where they were united, it gives a more value to the points where they were not united or they had differences. Now in these points they were more united. For example, both of them were against the foreign rule. Both of them were against the British rule and struggled for the independence of the country. They struggled for the independence of the country. Coming to constitutionalism, both wanted a sovereign democratic state and were members of the drafting committee of the constitution. Even Nehru drafted the objective resolution. We all know the objective resolution of 1946, where Nehru drafted this and our preamble had come from this particular resolution. And Patel was also the chairman of the Fundamental Rights Committee. He was also chairman of the Fundamental Rights Committee of the Constituent Assembly. So both of them in a way favored constitutionalism. Now what is constitutionalism? constitutionalism is an ideology where the source of power is with the people. Nobody can arbitrarily take the rights of the people. So in India also we follow constitutionalism, and both of these personalities were favoring this particular ideology of constitutionalism. Both of them had faith in Gandhi. Both of them had complete faith in Mahatma Gandhi. Both had faith in Gandhi's approach of non-violence and truth, and acknowledged his leadership. Both of them in a way supported Gandhi's ideology and his struggle for independence. Now the final point is protection of minorities. Both of them were secular in nature and they supported the minorities' rights. Nehru, though his secular approach united the Muslims in India, Patel was the chairman of the fundamental rights and welfare of minorities. So today in lot of rights we have in our constitution regarding the minorities. So he was the chairman of that committee. So both of them in a way worked for the welfare of the minorities. So we can write a conclusion, therefore both of them worked tirelessly for the unification of the country, and that's what makes more significant than the differences they had. So this is what makes more significant than the differences which they had. It means they had differences, but still then they were tolerant to each other. That's why they worked, even if having different ideologies, they worked together for the betterment of the country. So to conclude, never has there been a combination of humanism and realism so complete as in Nehru and Patel. So this is what you have to write an answer where you give the facts with proper justification when it comes to our national freedom fighters or our national contributors to our freedom struggle.